So Giles, he's been a familiar face on the scene for years, and keep bumping into him at various things, and suddenly thought, yeah, why have we not had this man before? I mean, yesterday we had music, we had the talk about the importance of that, and then you've got the vibrational element to that. I mean, we live in a world that, whichever way you want to look at it, does need healing. And through the Perpetual Choirs project, Giles is very keen on getting something going that will heal the world, but in a very positive way, but also blending it with earth mysteries, things like that. And I think we're going to hear a very broad view today of things that we can all do. And I'm sure the energy of Giles is going to be infectious here. So please give a big hand to Giles Bryant. Thank you.
It's so lovely to be here, and I just want to give thanks to Andy and the team. I got here very early today, and there was someone hoovering. There's the guys at the back doing the live stream. There's the people on the desk. Can we give a round of applause, please, to the whole team? Come on! This is a fantastic event, and I'm really honoured to have been asked to speak here. And I've got a fantastic story for you today, but maybe I can just tell you a little bit about myself and who I am and what I do, really. I've been running the World Healing Project for the last 18 years, which has been more interesting than my chosen career path, which was to be a barrister. I was at law school in the early 90s, and I kind of thought, yeah, it's maybe not for me. So now I do things like this. This is summer solstice. We got a big map in India. We used to live in India, and it had all the countries' flags on it. And I thought I could paint them all on loving hearts and initiate singing all around the world. So that's what we did on the solstice. May Day. Was anyone up the tour for Sunrise? Give me a wave. There we go. Some of you might have seen us up the tour. And I thought, I talk a lot about the Perpetual Choirs, and I give talks, and I produce music and all these things, but I thought, well, I've got to do it myself, and I do. So on Sunrise, we started to sing at the tour as the sun was coming up, and I sung all the way up the St Michael alignment near to where I live in Bury St Edmunds for 15 and a half hours, just kept singing songs of love and peace and healing. The thing is, we're in the car driving up there the day before, and I looked round, I thought, I've forgotten my guitar. What can I do? But I did have a little rattle. And at the tour, the sun was rising, and it was all very disparate. People were a little bit, doing their own thing. So I thought, I know what I can do. I had a little rattle, and my wife had her drum. And I went like this. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. And people started to sing. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. We sang. Hey-ya, 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 oh. Hey-ya, 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 hey-ya. And I started singing, and I just kept going. Now, why was I doing that? Why was I doing that? Well, and why do I spend my time getting together with people like this, organising these massive Perpetual Choir projects? People from all around the world here, hundreds of people which accumulated in the creation of this album recently, which has all been recorded in 432 hertz, and we're going to get into some of this stuff a little bit later on. But as Andy was saying, are we awake and ready? Are we awake and ready? Yes, we are. That's it, because this is a high vibe event. So I just want to ask a few questions, all right? Who's done the yoga this morning? Put your hand up. Who's had a glass of water this morning? Okay, so we're kind of getting there. All right. We're kind of getting there. So what I'd like you to do, just in your chair, just give yourself a little shake. Wave your hands above the head. Okay, here we go. So I can talk about the Perpetual Choirs, as I'm going to, but if we experience something, it's going to be so much more powerful, because right where we are is only about 100 yards from where the legend tells us that the Perpetual Choir of Glastonbury took place, which is in the site of the Abbey, in the Mary Chapel there. And this time I do have my guitar. I did remember it. So would you like to sing a song with me? Anyone fancy that? Yeah? Some of us are up for that? It's very easy, okay? So I'm going to go. I'm going to sing it first of all, and then I want you to sing it back to me, all right? And we're going to dedicate this music to peace and love in our world. Who's up for that? We up for a bit of peace and love? Because sound is a carrier wave of our consciousness. It literally can carry our intention out into the world, into the songlines of the planet. And here we are in Avalon, the heart chakra of the world. So we can do something special today. Should we all do that? We can do it. Okay, it goes something like this. So I'm going to go first. Your turn, Glastonbury. I'm going to go. Ooh. Your turn, Avalon. Ooh. I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. Your turn. Mm-hmm. And we put it together. Let's hear ya. Well, to the north and the earth, strength and stability to the east and the air, the breath that we breathe to the south and the fire, burning desire to the west and the water, cleansing energy we sing, together with you. To the Mother Earth heartbeat, Mother Earth heartbeat. Can you clap your hands and stomp your feet? I know it's Sunday morning, but this is how we rock and roll. Let's get the energy flowing. Can we clap the hands and stomp the feet for the Mother Earth now? Can we send the healing to the Mother Earth now? Great Spirit, golden light shine. Let the love shine through our hearts. Together, let's hear ya. And ooh, and now really softly. Into the heart shrine, where the love shines. Into the heart shrine. Do you know, one amazing thing that I've got from being here throughout this weekend is gratitude. I am so grateful that the Glastonbury Symposium exists. I am so grateful that Glastonbury exists. I am so grateful that you are here, that I remembered my guitar. Let's do it one more time with the R. Anu. Ooh. For peace, love, and harmony in our world. Give yourselves a round of applause, everyone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. So I've been involved in music for a lot of years now, and we used to run a music event for adults with learning disabilities. Now, they say in the old times of the Perpetual choirs, there are 100 people at a time, so maybe we've got 100 people here. And we used to go every Wednesday evening to a charity that had an evening for adults with learning disabilities. So there's about 100 people there, right? And I had a big drum, and we'd go boom, 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 boom. They go ding, 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 ding. They were vibing. I mean, we're warming up, but, you know, it was good. Anyway, one day we get a message back, and they say, oh, Giles, We don't want you playing any of your religious music. You are impressing upon the minds of vulnerable people. So that's 95% of my material. So I'm driving there, thinking, what am I going to sing? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? We are going through some tough times. It's there for a reason. Make us stronger. Connect to who we truly are, right? So I'm driving there thinking, what am I going to do? So I had this drum, boom, 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 aha. And they went, aha. And I went, ooh. And they went, ooh. And I went, mm-hmm. And they went, mm-hmm. And I went, And they went, You've got them all, call and response, right? It gets your brain working. Left brain listens, right brain, So we did the thing, and it was great. And there was one girl there, young woman there, who hadn't spoke for 15 years. And she went back to her parents that day, and she went, The first word she'd uttered in 15 years, because what I'd got them doing was the most sacred of all things, the most religious thing I could have got them doing. But I was smarter than they were, you see. I tricked them. Aha, da-da-da, come on, give me one. Aha, and I went, ooh, and they went, and I went, mm-hmm, and they went, and I went, and they went, and it worked. And it works, right? And it works. Yes, it does indeed. In the beginning was the Word. This great vibration, the pranava, the Om vibration. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. How about that? Yogananda said sound or vibration is the most powerful force in the universe. Well, shall we work with it? Shall we work with the most powerful force in the universe? Krishna in the Gita says, I am the Om. I am the Om, right? Isn't that incredible? And Jonathan Goldman, a fantastic sound healer, came up with this formula: intention plus sound brings the healing. Intention plus the sound brings the healing, right? So should we just work with that heart sound, because we're in the heart chakra? Now, what about we put some intention behind it? Do you know, I loved it when those guys were doing their music yesterday. Can we give a big round of applause to the incredible... And at the end, when they said something like, I am paraphrasing, guys, but they said something like, we're going to give to you and you can give to us. And the energy was incredible, wasn't it? Whoa! Because it had that, it was skillful, but it had the intention behind it. It carried the wave of consciousness. So how about we send some love to ourselves, yeah? All right, just open your eyes for a minute. Have a look left and right. I know it's a bit dark, but there you go at the back. What about we send love to everyone here? And love to those watching online. And in the future, someone's watching this DVD. And we connect to Glastonbury and the energy of Glastonbury and its healing power. And let's send love to the world. Oh, I think you've passed the audition. They said. Here we go. What about Plato? What about old Plato? Oh, God, sorry. There we go. In the golden age, man was governed not by law, but by music. How about that? If we didn't have these nut jobs, but we were just singing in harmony. And the other thing that old Plato said was the modes of popular music determine the present and future government, right? Now that is profound. So in my journey of a performing musician, recording musician, I've recorded with people all over the world, travel all over the world recording. Some people very famous, some people not so famous. But I've worked with lots of different people. And one guy who'd had a #1 single, he said, music is the darkest industry in the world because it's the one that could liberate people. So it's the one they go, oh, we're going to do something about that. But you can't stop it. You can't stop us going, ah. You can't stop the good vibes, right? You can't stop it. The power of sound. Tesla, interesting dude. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, right? Isn't that amazing? All cultures have used sound healing. All cultures have done it. Do you know the first ever use of sound healing? As a caveman, he stubbed his toe. Oh! You let it out and it helps. Anyone been present at the birth of a child? Well, mothers. I'm stupid. What a stupid thing to say. I was up at 5:30. Anyway, when we had our second child, Eliar, my wife's, giving it the, and I said to breathe through it. Because you can go through the contraction or the surge with that breath if you're overtoning. So she was there giving it that, and I was behind her. That girl was making noises. I'm surprised you didn't hear her up the ley line here. And it works. And it works. Yogananda, the saints of India from very ancient times have known the art of vibrating certain notes into the air through the specific intonation of their Vedic chants, any chants, which acted as inducements to awaken the silent healing power of God and the cosmic energy to work quickly in dispelling disease, sorrow, or poverty. So this is really why I have dedicated my life, my resources into doing this, because all of creation is a singing matrix of frequencies. We know this, don't we, that everything is energy. Seems pretty solid. Seems pretty solid. It's the electron resistance. The world is sound. So when we can work with sacred sound again, imagine what we can achieve. Imagine what we can do. So I've kind of been studying this for 30 years. I thought, the whole law, not really for me. Wasn't digging the corruption that I'd kind of found even at those early years. So with the mind of a barrister, I've been studying. I've been all over the world, learning from people, reading a few books here and there. And this is the accumulation today of 30 years of work. Sound is a creative force. Emoto's shown this. We all probably know the Masaru Emoto, Professor Emoto. He throws the water, and this is to demonstrate really the power of sound and intention. This is the prayer, thanks. That wasn't something very nice. Ave Maria, Om Namah Shivaya. They form these patterns. Cymatics is the science of these vibrating a plate with certain frequencies, and fantastic things happen. On the left is the cymatic image of the Om that we were chanting there, and the right is the image, the Sri Yanta, which is when the monks were meditating on the sound, this is what they saw. And then all these years later, we have this justification of it. Okay, so sound is effective, right? Sound is effective. It really works. It really works as a healing tool. But in the ancient times, here and places around the world, people maintained a perpetual choir. And there's reasons for this that we're going to get into. Now, this guy here, a friend and mentor of mine, John Michell, who I'd like to dedicate this talk to, he rediscovered the perpetual choirs in modern times in his book, The City of Revelation. Hands up, anyone's read that book? The City of Revelation. Hands up if you know who John Michell is. If you don't, I'd really recommend his books. He's the greatest writer, in my opinion, on earth mysteries, ancient science. sacred number, etc. So anyway, John found evidence in the Welsh triads that he interpreted to be 3 sites. Okay, there's speculation, was it actually these sites? This guy was a mystic. Let's not forget he was the guy that rediscovered the St. Michael alignment. He was the guy that had the download of the geometry of the City of Revelation, just as St. John had in Patmos. I mean, he was a dude. Some of us knew John, character. I was privileged to spend time with him. Anyway, he said that the 3 perpetual choir sites where they had 100 people at the time, and you know, they'd get tired singing, and then the next lot would come in, and the next lot would come in, and the next lot would come in, and it maintained a perpetual choir. So let's just do this one again, right? We're going to do the for love in the world. Now that sounds lovely, but imagine we were in a nodal point of energy, like at the Abbey, and you weren't just some lovely person coming to the symposium, you were a specially trained chorister. Have you ever been to a great cathedral when they're giving it some? Unbelievable, isn't it? In these incredible sound chambers. I sang at Canterbury Cathedral, and it was just me there and the girl, and I told her about this idea of sound, intention plus sound brings the healing. And I hit the singing bowl, and I said, and she went, oh, and the building went, oh, like the reverb. And all of the energy lines activated. Two people, where several gather in my name, there am I. Right? We don't need a lot of us to bring about transformational healing. I was in Canterbury Cathedral and it activated. Just 2 people with the singing bowl. Canterbury Cathedral is a tourist attraction. I turned up there to sing and they said, it's £8.50. I mean, it's probably a lot more now. £8.50, I said, I'm a pilgrim. Some of you Glastonbury types know that kind of line, don't you? I know you hippies. Well, I met with Dr. David Flood, who was their head of music, and he said, yes, please do sing. Sing in the chapter house. And he winked at me and he said, that's where the monks held their meetings. And he was telling me that's where they had the perpetual choirs, just as they did in Glastonbury and at sites around the world. So John Michell, right? John is no longer with us, but I was able to interview him about 18 years ago, and thank God I did. And you know, we're talking about DVDs as well, right? It's really good technology. DVDs, CDs, it's really good technology. Because if your hard drive gets wiped, what are you going to do? This is preserved for you. I can bring John Michell's words back to life. It's all very well me saying, John Michell spoke about the perpetual choirs. But to bring John Michell back to life, and do you know why I can do this? Because it was saved on a tape. You know those old tapes you used to do videos on? That's why. So, you know, I'm still up for this old tech, and you can go to Cash Converters, get a DVD player for 10 quid or something. So anyway, if this is going to work, this is going to be amazing. I give you John Michell. Can I just ask about the perpetual choirs? Because obviously Stonehenge was reputed to be one of the perpetual choir sites. And was the perpetual choir circle part of a Megalithic culture, in your opinion?
It goes back a long way. Yeah. The tradition of perpetual choirs, which is teams of choristers singing, keeping up a chant day and night, probably reflecting the passage of the events in the heavens and such. It goes back a long, long way. And the Stonehenge was reputed to be a singing choir. So was a place in South Wales, Len Major, another one, Glastonbury. And then there are many sites with traditions of choirs, and keeping up a perpetual ritualized chant. In Wales, a place called Bangor, which means choir, perpetual choir. Yeah, it's part of what I call the enchantment of the country, when people were held within a pattern of ritual and music and such. So,
I think part of what I want to do is try to recreate that, or do, but for the modern age,
yes,
and sing the songs of this age,
yeah,
to help, bring that harmony in the same minute it was before. My little project.
What was you singing?
Just sing the songs of today.
yes, we should all sing, quite right.
Yes.
And sing together.
That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So there's John Michell for you. And in the last couple of years of his life, he spoke so passionately about the Perpetual choirs. And I think he was pumping me with the information and the energy that I might do something about it, as I have been. So let's just get into a little bit about what John was talking about. There are the three sites there: Llantwit Major in South Wales, Glastonbury, and Stonehenge. And because John was a geometer, and but those that know him, he used to have a calculator in his top pocket, just in case he wanted to calculate some numbers. He talked about time speeding up. He's got a fantastic book called Writings and Rants of a Radical Traditionalist. Anyone read that one? Buy the book. Buy the book. It's amazing. And the first essay, he's talking about why time's speeding up. And he said, I think it's got something to do with computers and those internet things. He said, I'll never have one of those things in my house. The smartphone, he would have had a hammer on it. He would have smashed it to bits. Goring, again, the Bangor or Gore, the place of the choir. This is this summer solstice alignment here. And he determined that there's a site called the White-leafed Oak in the centre of it all there, that is very interesting because it's a place where the three counties of Hereford, Worcestershire and Gloucestershire meet, and these counties have a three choirs festival, which has been going for hundreds of years. And Malvern itself, the closest town to the centre, has an incredible tradition of choirs. Of course, lots of springs there as well, water holding the energy. And from this, he discovered the decagon, this 10-sided figure of, and as he said, the perpetual choirs are a mechanism to create and maintain a divine spell or enchantment over the whole country. In the Golden Age, man was governed not by law but by music. Imagine we could return this again and have people singing, radiating out love and healing to the world. How much do they spend on the defence budget a year? The NHS budget a year? Frightening figures. What about we put some resources into getting people to sing again? Or maybe we don't even worry about the government, we just do it ourselves. As I'm trying to inspire people to do it in my own way, I sing as much as I can. Let's look at some of these places, some of the things that John Michell said about it. It's great just being by the Abbey, isn't it? A key to the mystery is found in the most distinctive possession of the Celtic Church, its musical tradition. They kept a ceaseless vigil, succeeding each other in turn throughout the day and night, maintaining a perpetual sacred chant. Do you know what happened when the Norman abbot came? And he said to the monks, no more of this old chant you're doing, you're going to now do this. Do you know they resisted it at the altar and they slaughtered them at the altar of this abbey church? They held on to their ancient chants so much they were prepared to die for it. So this is a key, an absolute key. It was their musical tradition. Llantwit Major. Anyone been there in South Wales? Some of you need to get out more. The 12 anchorites formed the first Christian church, according to legend. It was at or near Llantwit Major The site was blessed by the presence of saints, and it became one of the greatest centres of education in Europe. The churchyard is circular, indicative of a Druidic origin. The princes and chieftains of Wales sent their children there to be educated. And it was one of these places of the Perpetual choirs. Now, who's been to a Stonehenge or Salisbury Plain on a cold day, winter? And we're telling you that there was a Perpetual choir night and day? I mean, yeah, the lunchtime shift on a sunny day, we'd all probably do an hour, wouldn't we? But what about 3 a.m. when it's freezing? So at a talk, I said this, and a guy came up to me afterwards, and he says, Giles, maybe those old druids, and I'm using the term druid as just a pre-Christian, priest or anchorite, saint, whatever, maybe they were just so tough that they could deal with it. Or, he said, maybe they knew how important it was. So if it was raining or pouring, they knew this was an important thing that they were doing, okay? And it is absolutely a critical importance. Stonehenge is a fascinating place. Research by these boffins at the University of Salford have shown that it was a sonic temple. I'm not going to go through all this here, but it's quite magical when you feel what would it have sounded like to be in that space. Music and other signs would have been enhanced. This suggests that activities such as religious rituals at Stonehenge were intimate events linked to a select group of participants. They recreated what it would have been like and then did sonic experiments. And the musicologist Rupert Till says, Stonehenge hums when the wind blows hard. These sites are sites of incredible power. That's the white-leafed oak, sadly no longer there in its physical form, burnt down. But there it is, and you can see some crazy guy up there playing his flute. Getting up was easy, getting down, oh my God. But there we go, God bless to the white-leafed oak, on or near the centre point of the Perpetual choir circle. So, what were they singing? Like the girl asks in the question there, Emma, she says, well, what will you sing in the Perpetual choirs? And I said, I'll sing the songs of today. Do you know why? Because I want to align myself and my song with the music of the spheres, this celestial harmony, and bring it into earth. And because things are moving, the vibration's moving and the songs are moving. Right? So this is where we can, even if we're singing the old songs, we can refresh them, like the beautiful couple did yesterday, doing these interpretations of these ancient songs. But certainly they were singing this vibration. Can we give it one? Or some people in Glastonbury like to say, Arwen. Can we give it one? Arwen. I love to sing in churches because they've got that nice resonant acoustics. You go by the choir, by the altar. Oh. So I'm often giving it the on, right? So I'll be in the church. Oh, I hear the door open. Oh, it's the vicar's wife. Oh, amen. Hello, vicar's wife. Is that where it comes from, you see? Amen. Sometimes I think, imagine a church service where they just did that for an hour. Amen. Or as the Muslims say, Amin. Or the Tibetans say, Hum. They all have the same kind of origins. I like doing the R sound because it's kind of going beyond religion. Okay? Let's give it one. And it's a powerful sound. It's the heart sound. Gets people into the heart. But it's like Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Wankantanka, Hallelujah. You know, it's kind of in there a lot, that R sound. So basically, I think the Perpetual choirs were singing the songs that came to them. I think it would have been very simple. And John Michell says it was based on a 12 note scale of ancient Egypt, but there we go. How does sound heal? Through 3 ways. 2 of them are here. Resonance. Everything has a resonant frequency, right? And if you're in tune, if you're in harmony, you're healthy. If you're out of tune, out of harmony, you have dis-ease, right? So harmony is a term of music, but also of well-being. The analogy used is the, in the orchestra, the second violinist, he's forgotten his music. He's going a bit rogue. It's going to sound terrible. It's like part of your body's going a bit rogue. Western medicine, which is life-saving and incredible. I'm not knocking it. I'm not a doctor knocker or anything. Like, wonderful. But they've got 2 main tools. They either drug the second violinist, so he shuts up, or they cut him out of the orchestra. So sound healing is saying, what about you give him his music back? What about you resonate a frequency to return harmony once again? And sound healing has been used all over the world. That's one method, and then the other is entrainment. Another is entrainment. We have the different brainwave frequencies, and music can take us out of this everyday consciousness into deeper states of consciousness associated with healing, with meditation. The music does this so powerfully. We felt that yesterday, didn't we? I mean, we really did, didn't we? That was like, I was at the front buzzing. And it's a carrier wave of consciousness. Okay, I'll demonstrate that because how many times have you sent a text message, email, and what you've said has not been understood because the words didn't hold how you were saying it? I could say to you, I love you, or I could say, I love you. And in the text, it's the same, right? Do you get me? So sound is a carrier wave of consciousness. In the rare occasions that I have a little argument with the old wife, I'll say to her, but I only said this. And she said, it wasn't what you said, it was how you said it. You with me? Yeah? So when we put intention behind something, it's just incredible. There's a resonant energy, of course, of the chakras, the 7 chakras with the notes, C, D, F, G, A, B, and then back to C, and the sounds, the vowel sounds in the middle column here. All words have vowel sounds in them. And then the Bija mantras. There's a very ancient mantra called the Gayatri mantra. Om Bo Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. It's the most sung or repeated prayer in the world. And it's 5,000 years old. It encodes all of these sounds within them, all of the vowel sounds. Hey, it's the #1 in the hit parade, guys. And you thought it was Taylor Swift. It's the Gayatri mantra. Right? Old is gold. We just got to do the new interpretations of it and sing these songs that kind of resonate to us. Okay, let's get back to this guy, Tesla. Golly. Right. Do we want to find the secrets of the universe? Well, some of you do. Do we want to find the secrets of the universe? Yes, we do. And of course they are within us. The kingdom is within us, right? Energy, frequency, and vibration. So let's get into this because this is an important one. This really is it's an interesting thing. Okay. So the last album that I recorded, which featured, orchestral instruments and people from all over the world, we recorded in 432 hertz. Hertz is a measurement of cycles per second, a measurement of sound, right? Now, music has been standardized to 440. So A, an orchestra tunes to A, the note A. Sorry? And this is the 432. But they've kind of given it a little twist in the modern ways. But this is how they said to the ancient ones, okay? So the ancient Egyptian, Greek, they found a tomb of all these singing bowls in China, like thousands of years old, and they were like an orchestra of singing bowls. They're all tuned to 432. It's interesting that there are 43,200 seconds in a 12-hour day, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that the square root of the speed of light is 432? Isn't it interesting that, the day of Brahma is 4.32 billion years, precession of the equinoxes, 25,920, that's 432 times 60. Isn't it interesting that the radius of the sun is 432,000 miles? And the diameter of the moon there, 2160, 5 times 432. This number comes up again and again and again. Now, John Michell, one of his magical numbers was 864. Because he wasn't a musician, he didn't realise that was 432 times 2. Because he didn't see that connection. But I did when I read his writings. And he says this number appears time and time again. The ancients were trying to tell us something. Right? Like Verdi, and they say Mozart, they were tuning to 432. Some people call it the Baroque tuning. It's got different names. But on a mathematical level, it makes sense. Now, in my work, this is the main reason I know 432 is the way to go, if you can tune your instruments to it. It's not the be-all and end-all of life, because ultimately the consciousness is the carrier wave. That's more important than what we're thinking about. It's because of my work in schools. Done lots of music in schools, well-being projects with schools. And I would go in sometimes with my guitar tuned to standard tuning, and then sometimes I would go in with the 432. And you can't trick the kids. Anyone got children, grandchildren, awake little children? The high vibration, do you know what I mean? You see in their eyes, they're from another place, right? Those kids. And they responded much more to the 432. Scientific studies have shown that it helps reduce anxiety, placebo trials, and lowers blood pressure. I mean, it kind of probably would, because it's a little bit lower. There's other research showing that the NASA have got the sound of black holes, and then you max it up 54 octaves, and it's this sacred scale, and then A is 432. It's fascinating. I mean, they're not pissing about, were they? Excuse my French. The size of the Great Pyramid, you times it by 43,200, you get the size of the Earth. They were trying to tell us something, but what did we do? Oh, we did this. We went a bit nut job. It's what someone said, the gin and tonic and a twist. Who likes the gin and tonic? You don't have to put your hand up, some of you. Right? But there's a twist. So you can't fool all the people all the time. So you give some of the truth, but then you put some little, do you know what I mean? A little bit of something in there. Crafty they are. So music could liberate us, but what did they do? They had to standardize it, because what happened was the orchestra from Hungary were coming to Russia, and they got to be all in right. You've got to be right. You've got to be tuned. It sounds terrible. So they picked the 440. This dude here, Jonathan, he says, the recent rediscoveries of the vibratory nature of the universe indicates the current contemporary AS 440 international standard pitch may possibly generate an unhealthy effect or antisocial behavior in the consciousness of human beings. Oh. And if you want to go rabbit hole in who's behind it, I'll just say the Nazis and the Rockefellers, and we'll leave it there. Look at some of these characters. Jesus, give me strength. The guy in the middle there is Tupac. My friend worked at a maximum security hospital. They had double doors, and the people there they needed to be kept safe. And it was in the old days when you had the CD player, and there was a big sign, and it said, "No Tupac." Because if they played Tupac, they went nuts. They went absolutely nuts. And you can see recent research that's coming out more and more and more. I saw an interview with Ice Cube, and he said, the CIA's behind a lot of the hip-hop, putting these things out, gangster rap. My boy, years ago, he was listening to this music, right? I said, what are you listening to? He was 17 at the time, and he played it, and I listened to it, and the beats were amazing, and the production was really cool, and then the lyrics came in. It was horrific. Horrific. I said, do you know what they sing about? Oh, I don't really listen to the words. Oh, but they're going in, baby. Right? They're going in and they know it. So, yeah, some of these characters, and that's why, you know, this guy who had a number one, he said to me, it's the most controlled industry in the world. It's the darkest industry in the world. And as time goes on, we're probably going to find out more about some of these characters and what they get up to. I mean, God bless them. You know, God bless them. But look, I just need to do this. Looking at Madonna's face just does my nutting. And a freaking Lady Gaga. Ooh. Let's just breathe in the power of a rose, shall we? And take a nice deep breath in. Now, I was at a sound healing conference presenting some years ago, and there was a guy there called Professor Singh. He was from the Sikh tradition of sacred yoga music. And someone said to him, Professor Singh, what tuning do you use? What frequency is your instrument tuned to? And he said, what I'm doing, it makes no difference. Because this carrier wave of consciousness was coming through. So you could be tuned to 440 and it's the best music ever, right? But if you can, if you're a musician, you just try it. And if you can, buy music tuned to 432 hertz and try it. Just try it. Just try it out if you've got the ability. When I bought my keyboard, I've got a lovely Roland keyboard, and I went in the shop and I say, show me how I detune this to 432. And he goes, oh, you're one of those funny people, are you? I think you press this, you press this. Oh, there you go. In the 80s, some synthesizers were 432 by default. So we're returning to something here, okay? So you're getting instruments now made, 432, like this recorder. I want that dude to play it later. 432, baby. Please do come and join us when we have a jam. So anyway, there's a rose, just so I could go, Now where does it connect to earth healing, right? Lays, energy lines, dragon lines, song lines, sound lines, and sacred sites. This is the famous fountain in Brighton, where a group of people got together back in the very early 80s. The mods and rockers were smashing it all up. The healer said, can we do something about it? We know people suffer from disease and can be healed. What about communities? We have Hara points, centre focal points. In Brighton, this is the main one, Queen Victoria's fountain that they put on the top of the old stone circle. Big energy, nodal energy going through it. They did their meditation. 100 of them did their meditation. The mods and rockers came down, did a circle of the roundabout, and went back home. The newspaper said, bikers go home. Brighton, too boring. They went to Hastings, didn't they? They went to Margate, smashed that up. And then the fountain group said, look, this is what we've done. We've visualized light and pure love emanating out. And the lines expanded thousands of times. Just absolutely fascinating story. You can read more about it if you want to get into it. So I'm an interesting age in a sense that, you know, Colin Bloy, who was a master dowser, he founded Fountain. He was the first person in known history to dowse an energy line. He said, well, you can dowse for water, you can dowse for any concept. Dowse these ley alignments. So he's in Sussex, and he's like, there's a stone, there's a circle, there's a barrow, and then it leads into the headquarters of the Conservative Party. What? I thought ley alignments were at ancient sites. No. Focal points of consciousness plug into the grid, like we are here. I mean, we're bringing it in here, right? So Colin no longer here. He taught Hamish Miller to dowse, of course, who co-wrote The Sun and the Serpent, The Dance of the Dragon. His dowsing exploits are absolutely incredible. So I got to spend a lot of time with Colin Bloy. I got to spend a lot of time with Hamish, but they're no longer with us. Thank God we've got Rory Duff, in my opinion, the world's leading earth energy dowser, who doesn't call them ley lines or dragon lines or song lines, like the old folk in Australia do. He calls them sound lines. Because of his background as a geobiologist, they're emanating frequency. And the day before the solstices and the equinoxes, he says all the lines harmonize. So that's when we do our singing, to put our harmony into the earth. So you can douse them. They are connected to the collective consciousness of humanity. In the Golden Age, man was governed not by law, but by music, right? Now, anyone been to Australia? Give us a wave. Has anyone been to a very harsh part of Australia? Out in the bush, as they call it. Okay, you've not got your water, you've not got your phone. How long are you going to survive out there? Not long is the answer. But those old folk have been there for 60,000 years. How did they do it? They put their prayers and their intention and they sung them into the earth with what they call a perpetual om machine. They sung their intentions into the song lines. And the mother gave them their food and their water and their shelter. The proof of the pudding is in the continuance of their culture and their civilization, which is strong. I had the privilege of hanging out with some of the old folk. It's strong. And what the British did to them is disgraceful. And I didn't really know anything about it until I got there, and I spent time and they told me the story. But their culture is strong because it's based on sound. It's absolutely phenomenal. Okay, 10 minutes, thank you. This here is a book on the Perpetual Choirs by John Gibson Fortey, who doused the Decagon of John Michell. And he found that they weren't terminating necessarily at geometric points, but they were going to these ancient lay alignments, and he doused all of these lines. It took him 3 years, so that's an interesting book if you can get hold of it. So, as I said, there's this connection between sacred sound and sacred sites, because when you go to these great temples and these great places, like we were singing up the St. Michael alignment recently, and you go to some of these places, and some of them are natural, like Royston Cave. They don't let you tone in there anymore on the Michael line. Anyone been there, up my way, Royston Cave? Some of you come up to East Anglia. Come and see me. It's beautiful up there. Bury St. Edmund's Abbey and all this. But you can see these correspondence between geometry, of sound, of the perfect fifth ratio, of the pentatonic scale. All of these things connect to chambers, these acoustic spirals on Newgrange, etc. So I found out about this circle in the west, the corresponding circle in the east. Some of those points are in the sea, look. This mechanism is so old, that didn't used to be the sea. You go back 6,000 years, and the point 14 wasn't in the sea. These two circles of the Perpetual Choirs, and I found out about it, and I thought, this is fascinating. And what was also fascinating was I was living right in the middle there. You see that right dot? The centre of the Perpetual Choirs is by this place here, which was once the greatest royal palace in England. It was a former Benedictine Abbey, Audley End House. But what you're looking at there is the left, Ring Hill. It's an ancient earthwork, and there used to be an alignment straight to it, look, straight into that house. They've got things there. They've got temples. They've got standing stones, the Loxodrome alignment. They've got all sorts there. So I thought, we've got to do something. We've got to do something about this to put the healing in the grid, right? Because there's people who know about this. Ring Hill was the site that the Witchfinder General, Matthew Hopkins, used to use to torture and kill the witches. In the centre is what is called the Circle of Power. It encompasses Oxford and Canterbury, the seat of the Church of England, Guildford, many, many places. So I got together with these dudes, and we made an album, The Perpetual Choirs, in 2012. It took me 4 years to make that album. And then there's the album cover, and we started singing. And we went to places like, there's the tour. Look, I went all around those places in my van. Concerts at each of those places. Strata, Florida. Give us a wave if you've been there in Wales. It was the Glastonbury of Wales, where they preserved this ancient knowledge. We were singing at Stonehenge. Seahenge on the North Norfolk coast. was one of the Perpetual choir sites. We spoke about Canterbury there. Oh, singing in Canterbury. Amazing. So we'd have these little gatherings like we were doing here. We'd sing and look what would happen. The angels would come. The rainbows would come. We would do peace circles and perpetual choirs at festivals. Look at these hippies. But look at night what happened. Can you see the orbs would come out? We were at the yoga show in London. We'd start singing, and we got a dowser to measure the energy field created. By the end of it, we had hundreds of people. They banned me from doing it the following year because they said I blocked the fire exits. But anyway, the dowsable energy field was throughout the whole of the building of Olympia. It was astonishing. This is Green Park, the London Earth Star, white-leafed oak, with the kids. And the perpetual choirs started to happen. This was many years ago. Some hippies set up a perpetual choir thing. And we started to sing. Then we took it worldwide. India, a place of the perpetual choirs. And we'd be on a train and they'd see my guitar. And they'd go, sing, sing, sing. We'd start singing. And the train would just start rocking out. Absolutely phenomenal energy. And, you know, I love being in India. We lived there for some time. Because you can say to someone, namaste. Should we try it? Namaste. I honor the divine within you and me too. I see the good in you and me too. Namaste. Namaste. What a beautiful greeting that they have. So we did lots in India. We went up this mountain. The mountain was singing a song. We walked up to it. It was actually singing a song. There is me up there. The sophisticated culture in India, you could dance on the floor and it would activate these tubes which made different notes. Dance was connected to it. The Hare Krishna tradition, the sacred sound that goes on all around, the big ceremonies that go on in India. And in 1936, they brought back the perpetual choirs. Can we give it up for the Indians? And we joined with them. They're singing the Maha Mantra all the time. And in Humpy, they do the perpetual choirs now. Egypt, when we were in Egypt, they said this is a temple of the perpetual choirs. We were jamming with the old folk, as I mentioned, in Australia. The perpetual on machine. Carnarvon Gorge, a place of the perpetual choirs where the old folk have gone. This guy here, Si Malumbi, was training to be a doctor. Gave it all up when he heard the Om. He heard the perpetual Om as a didgeridoo. And all the guy's done since then is play the didge. There's me in New York City hanging out with some of the Krishnas. So we've done lots of stuff, right? The Oms, the Temple of Om. Who remembers the winter solstice? December 21st, 2012. Well, we thought if we're all going to go, we might as well go out singing. So we hired a beautiful church in London and we sang all the time. How long have I got, Andy?
You've got about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, super. Super duper. So we sang through the night. We love singing in Glastonbury. Do come and join us. And we've made some beautiful projects over the years. One World was one of the albums. A little plug, all the CDs that we've made, the Perpetual Choirs, are upstairs. The Circle of Love, there's a third circle that is centred on God's Hill in the Isle of Wight, goes through the Long Man, Windsor, Avebury and Abbotsbury. But I want to leave you with another little song, if I may, in my last few minutes, just to wrap up so we can have an experience of it all. And this is the song that I've sung most in my travels around the world, and wherever I am, people seem to love it, and I hope you do too. Thank you, Glastonbury Symposium, because this is dedicated to everyone and everything, sending you love and healing. I'm going to sing that again because this is dedicated to everyone and everything, sending you. So you remember that oh we did earlier? It's your time, Glastonbury. Ah, ah, ah. 'Cause deep inside us all is the love and healing. Ah, ah. Come on, everyone, for the divine feeling. Ah, ah, ah. We're the lucky ones, aren't we? We're at this beautiful event We've got Janice's raw vegan cakes to eat in a minute. We've got my amazing CDs to buy upstairs after the gig's finished. And we've got love in our hearts. But just to finish, shall we do something for maybe the people that are struggling in the world? Maybe the places where there is war and suffering and starvation and hatred. Should we do something about it? Love, 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 love is the healing. 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 Love, love, love. Should we send a message out from the heart chakra of the world? Come on, everyone. Love is the healing. Ah, 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 ah. Love and healing to the world. One more time. Ah, ah. We give thanks to the love within. Mother Earth, Great Spirit, the powers of the west and the water, the south and the fire, the east and the air, and the north and the earth. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Giles Bryant, thanks so much.